ESPN is dying a very slow, but I would say steady and extremely cringe-worthy death, okay? I like to liken it to the fall of Rome. And for those of you who don't know, the fall of Rome wasn't a fall in the sense of how we think of ancient civilizations being, conquered by another group of people and completely taken over. Rome fell in segments. It got split up. There were two capitals. They spread, their culture out, and they were getting a lot of they were getting way too many other cultures in. They were spreading themselves thin. The government sucked. And yeah, there were raids from the Visigoths and, other Germanic tribes, but it kind of fell from within. And I think that's the same thing that's happening with ESPN right now. Rise and with services like Netflix and Hulu that are making cable television basically obsolete. Channels like ESPN make it a hard case, are making it difficult to have a case for them being add-ons, to whatever subscriptions you have, okay? And here's why, all right? Much like the fall of Rome, ESPN is imploding within, okay? And I think there's 4 main reasons why, and I'm gonna touch on those in this video today. ESPN started in 1979, I believe the year is, okay? But I started watching it when it was good, okay? And I would say that was like early to mid, 2000s era, okay? One of the strongest aspects of ESPN were its flagship shows, okay? The top 3 that I can think of, there's plenty others that you can make, an argument for, were SportsCenter, Sports Nation, and Around the Horn, okay? Those saw a large amount of viewerships and they were, for lack of a better term, the shit, okay? SportsCenter, was on almost all the time, okay? You get the highlights. It'd be very minimal commentary, and then every once in a while you'd get Boomer or whatever his name is just going woo with like the football stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then you had Sports Nation and Around the Horn. Sports Nation was a little bit later in the day, and then Around the Horn was kind of like midday, okay? But now when you look at all 3 of those, they suck. Actually, SportsCenter isn't even a thing anymore. I think they changed it to SC6, which we'll touch on later. And Sports Nation, which I enjoyed so much, has gone to total, is that even on still? I feel like they canceled that too. I literally haven't watched ESPN forever, okay? But the last time I watched Sports Nation, the very last time, I was like, I can't take this anymore. There's some dude with dreads on and a bunch of random people that I had no idea, okay? I think like it really peaked when it was like Michelle Beadle, Max Kellerman, and Marcellus Wiley, okay? I think that's after Max left Around the Horn. Amazing, okay? It was amazing. They all bounced off of each other. Their personalities were great. But of course, egos got in the way, contracts, yada, 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 and they all started segmenting. So that went to shit too. Then you had Around the Horn, which, like I said, was hosted by Max Kellerman. I didn't watch it much then because I was younger. But then you had that, what's that guy's name? Joe or something. Here's the thing. Okay, it started out with him and like it would be consistently like Bomani and that one lady that kind of looks like the lady from Glee. You know what I'm talking about. And it'd be a show where they'd make points and you'd get awarded points like that. But then it turned into, favoritism. And it was like the same person winning all the time, okay? So now, these classic ESPN shows are just like completely watered down. It's not fun anymore. Their personality, and like every show has turned into like a debate format, okay? Like keep the debate format for like the early morning shows and like probably like evening, but I just want like SportsCenter to be fun again. And those 3 shows, in my opinion, were the epitome of fun and sports in one, okay? It wasn't too heavily debate based, and you could count on consistently good commentary from the host, but now you don't even have that anymore. Well, you're probably thinking I'm gonna be one of those people who's like, keep sports away from politics. No, okay, no. Okay, I think that's very disingenuous to say. sports and politics, if you're well informed, are like this, okay? Sports are politics, okay? Actually, the very first documented form of sports, which were the Greek Olympics, were put on to distract by the politics going on in Greece, okay? So sports and politics have been intertwined for years, okay? I have a problem with ESPN and when it comes to politics because they're very obviously left-leaning, okay? They have a very progressive, liberal kind of focus going on now. And I feel like this started around 2009, 10-ish, okay? Around the time Barack Obama got elected, they kind of started trying to be this hip, yo, I'm one of the kids now type thing, and it became super cringe. Things were taking a turn for the worse when at the ESPYs, Caitlyn Jenner got awarded the Arthur Ashe Courage Award for coming out as a transgender, okay? I want this disclaimer, I'm pretty libertarian in my views. I do not care what you do with your body, who you love, as long as, it's two consenting adults and no one's being harmed. But I do not see why someone like Caitlyn Jenner, who, I guess you could say was brave to come out because she was known as Bruce for most of her life, as a woman, I guess. But like when you have millions of dollars and kind of protection to fall back on, I don't really see what's courageous about that. I think the runner-up, even though ESPN of course said there weren't any runner-ups, was vet, okay, who lost both his arms and is competing at a very high level in sprints. So someone who served their country, didn't make excuses, got both his limbs, blown off, versus Caitlyn Jenner, former Olympic athlete with millions of dollars coming out. I don't know. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Okay. Then you have, like I touched on, SportsCenter turned into SC6, which comes on at 6 at night. And for a while, I think even less than a year, there was two hosts, Jamel Hill and Michael, I don't even know his name. He was just Michael. He was there. And it was cool, I guess. But you could tell like the theme of the show was very centered around Black culture. And I had no issue with that. America is predominantly white, okay? And we are a melting pot or a salad bowl, I like to think of, like cultures and races and stuff, right? So if you have a prime show on ESPN, one of the biggest sports networks, I think it's still #1, and you have two hosts who are doing everything for the culture, which I'm 100% for, I think it's dope, you're going to alienate a large majority, viewers. Because, if I was white tuning into that, half the jokes they were making and the issues they were raising, I would just be kind of turned off to it. It's just like me, whenever I try to watch Larry the Cable Guy, like his stand-up, and I was just kind of like, half the time, like I'm not gonna keep watching it. It's kind of a turnoff because not everybody in America is a liberal. I would say actually America's kind of like 50-50. So you are alienating half of your viewership, and I think it's wrong. I think it's okay to bring up political issues, but you have to be inclusive of other dissenting opinions, okay, than the majority. Which is why I like Will Cain on First Take, because he, obviously, it's very obvious that he has a conservative view. And, I don't agree with 100% of the things he says, but I do like that there's, Will Cain there to offset a lot of the liberal ideology pushed by ESPN. And they can run away from it all they want, but the third issue that I see bringing down ESPN is the fact that only football and basketball seem to exist to ESPN. Okay, I get it. You have contracts with these, leagues, the NBA, the NFL, and probably college too. And I get it. It's so exhausting and it's so boring talking about only two sports year round. Like basketball goes all the way till about June. And then we kind of stop talking about basketball unless there's a cool free agency situation, which for the past 2-3 years there has been. So we talk about basketball up until about August, then it's a little bit quiet. Then we're talking about football all the way. And then around like November-ish, we start talking about basketball again. And it's just year round. It's year round, and it's like, guys, we need a break. Can we get other topics? Like, Bryce Harper left the Nationals, if you guys even know who that is. He's playing in Philly now. The NHL playoffs are going on. Had no clue. I had a good friend of mine who watches hockey let me know that. I'm not advocating for this because I'm some huge baseball or hockey fan or golf. Oh my God. I actually favor basketball and football over those other sports, okay? You couldn't pay me to watch a baseball game that wasn't at the stadium when I could take breaks every inning to get a hot dog. I mean, you'd have to pay me a large sum of money for that. And I feel like, you know, there's been a lot of complaints that, you know, baseball and hockey are predominantly like white audiences. Well, not baseball as much, but you can't get integration if you're only favoring two sports. And in those two sports, you only talk about like 4 teams. Like in the NBA, like they literally just talk about the Lakers, the Celtics, I mean the Warriors now, but even before then it was like, I don't know, the Spurs. Like, it's like as if any of the other teams don't exist. And in football, it's literally Patriots, and everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, and the Cowboys. Of course, the Cowboys. How could I forget the Cowboys? So it's just such biased coverage, and it's boring after a while. And this is, again, coming from someone who immensely enjoys basketball and football. Like, I should be rejoicing, right, that that's all they show, but it's boring. It's like, I'm snoozing, okay? So I can't imagine what it's like to just be a baseball fan and have to go to like ESPN 2, what even comes on ESPN 2? Does anybody watch that? What? I think I've watched ESPN Classic more than I watch ESPN 2. I don't know what comes on there, but whatever. You get the idea. If I was a fan of any other sports, I'd be turned off to ESPN completely. I'd like watch like the Golf Network, or I don't know, there's probably like an NHL network too or something. I feel very little. It's so sad. Like, please show others. Fourth thing that I think is gonna bring ESPN down is just their topics in general, okay? Now, can someone tell me what ESPN has talked about in the last like 3-4 years that didn't involve LeBron James, LeVar Ball, the Golden State Warriors, the Cowboys, and Zion Williamson as of late? If you can tell me any other topic that they beat to death, besides whether LeBron James is the GOAT, LeVar trolling, the Cowboys, and somehow they're America's team. Oh, and Tom Brady too. Like it's like the same thing. And any given day, you're gonna find one of those 5 or 6 topics going. And I think, honestly, as a LeBron fan, I feel like ESPN does LeBron such a disservice because it's just a non-stop coverage. Like, leading up to this year's playoffs, they were still talking about the Lakers drama. Like, if I was like looking from the outside in, I'd be like, why are they talking about this guy and he's not even playing right now? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, to me, he's the greatest of all time, but it's like, you put a bad taste in people's mouths and you enable people like Kevin Durant to say the media are fanboys when you do stuff like that. They talk about the Cowboys 24/7. Like, I don't understand how they're America's team. Like, logically, that's never made sense to me because you have the Patriots, which, I mean, come on. And then they win whatever. I'm not gonna go into a Cowboys rant right now because whatever. But my point is, the topics are so dumb. And then like, they'll take one little thing that like happens on social media and like stretch it for days. Like the whole AB and Juju like incident, like that was a topic for like 8 days. Like, and they'll ask the same question differently. Like, do you think AB started the beef with Juju? Or did Juju start the beef with AB? Or what does this mean? It's like, guys, like, oh my God, like, the drama is great the first 2 days, but after a while, you just sound like a broken record. It's so annoying. Literally had 2 topics where they compared Kobe Bryant to an actual mamba and Big Ben Roethlisberger to a polar bear, like dead ass. Like those were 2 actual topics at one point. And they compared the stats and everything. And it's just like, what? ESPN to me is dying a very slow, painful death. Let me know what you think. Reacting, maybe I'm biased, but I feel like a lot of people would agree with me. I mean, the numbers say it all. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time on Impeccable Entertainment.